At 79, the tragedy of Hayley Mills is beyond heartbreaking, not because of a single catastrophic moment, but because her life story reveals a lifetime of silent struggles hidden behind one of the most recognizable smiles of the 20th century. For millions, Hayley Mills will forever be the bright-eyed, joyful Disney child star who lit up the screen in classics like Pollyanna and The Parent Trap. But what the world never saw, what she rarely spoke about until years later, was the emotional weight she carried from a childhood stolen by fame, a fortune taken from her without her consent, and health battles that changed her life in ways that broke even her own fiercely optimistic spirit. Today, at 79, when she looks back on her life, the truth she shares is raw, reflective, and deeply moving, revealing the price she paid for a career that brought joy to millions but left her privately struggling for decades. Hayley Mills grew up under the blinding lights of Hollywood, celebrated as Disney's golden girl. But behind the scenes, she was a child trying to navigate an adult world that demanded perfection at every turn. She later admitted how lonely and overwhelming those years were, how she felt the weight of being America's sweetheart while still trying to understand who she really was. As she grew older, the world expected her to remain the same cheerful child she once was, leaving her trapped between the identity Hollywood created for her and the woman she was becoming. This emotional tug-of-war led to years of self-doubt and confusion, as she tried to reclaim her own sense of self after being shaped so heavily by the studio machine. But perhaps the most heartbreaking blow came when she turned 21 and discovered that nearly every penny she had earned as a child star, over $1 million, had been taxed away under the UK's heavy child earnings laws. The fortune she built through years of hard work was gone in an instant. The financial hit was devastating, but the emotional betrayal cut even deeper. She described it as losing her childhood twice, first to fame, and then to a system that failed to protect her. It took years for her to rebuild her confidence, her finances, and her faith that life could still offer joy beyond disappointment. As if that weren't enough, Hayley faced another painful chapter later in life when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The news stunned her fans and shook her family, but Hayley approached the battle with the same quiet courage that defined her entire life. She pursued alternative treatments, fought through fear, and refused to let the illness determine the final chapters of her story. Though she ultimately overcame the disease, the emotional toll left deep marks, a reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who seem endlessly resilient. Now, at 79, Hayley Mills' story is a bittersweet reminder that even the brightest stars carry shadows the public never sees. Her life has been filled with beauty, success, and unforgettable roles, but also with heartbreak, loss, and battles she faced in silence. And as she reflects on her journey, she wants people to understand one thing: behind every beloved icon is a human being who has endured far more than the world ever imagined.